let's move into beyond the weather and into some of the good news that I endeavour to find for you, because a lot of gloom and doom around, let's face it. But we haven't come here to Portugal for gloom and doom. We've come here to have an enjoyable life, which, isn't that everybody's endeavour? Is to cut down on the noise and all the angst and everything, and just have a simple and nice life. And I think that's very doable here in Portugal. And let's endeavour to keep it that way. Another way of, I'm talking constantly here, aren't I, about expats and explorers. Great way to explore Portugal, perhaps, is to come here by train soon, because Eurostar have announced that they are looking at Portugal as part of their plans to connect the UK, or connect St Pancras basically to the rest of Europe. Let me share my screen again with you, and let's have a look through this story. I do apologise. We're going to be looking at the Daily Mail Online website, which is an absolute assault on the senses. Stuff going off everywhere. And this is guaranteed to, like looking at the Daily, see, you click it at different things and then something else opens up. It's so stressful looking at the Mail Online. And you get the feeling it's not really about the news. It's just a way of like putting loads of adverts in your face. Get a bit of content from somewhere. On this occasion, I'm moaning on, and I'll stop that. Eurostar is going all the way to Rome. Rail firm bosses are eyeing route expansion to Italy, Spain, and yay, Portugal. This is good news for Brits, isn't it, to connect to Europe? And I think it is a political move, because Grant Shapps, see the transport guy in the UK, it's a very interesting video of him. He's talking about rail travel, but he actually looks like a rabbit in the headlights, to use a different transportation analogy. Eurostar bosses are planning to run high-speed trains to Italy, Spain, and Portugal. Currently, the furthest Eurostar takes passengers is 800 miles to the south of France. I bet that's a lovely journey. Eurostar currently runs direct services to Paris, Marseille, Brussels, and Rotterdam. Story from yesterday, and updated yesterday as well. We could see that Eurostar bosses plan to run high-speed trains to new, further away countries. Interesting, such as Italy, Spain, and Portugal. And that's why we're looking at this. Transport Secretary Grant Shapps revealed yesterday. He said ministers are helping the company launch dozens of seamless services from London to European cities and holiday destinations. Currently, furthest you can go, as we've said, is 800 miles from London to the south of France. But it is expected to extend its reach to cities like Rome. Don't get distracted by the adverts, everybody. That's what they want you to do. Focus, but it is expected to extend its reach to cities like Rome and 1,165 miles away from St Pancras, and Lisbon, yes, 1,360 miles away. Trains to Eastern Europe are planned further down the line. Nice. I see what you did there, further down the line. Get it? Mr. Shapps said, we are fully committed to expanding international rail routes as a government, and Eurostar is too. Now, look at this board here, look, of expected destinations in the future. Rome, of course, they are touting that as the big news. 11 and a half hours it will take you to get to Rome. The important one for us there is Lisbon in Portugal, 1,360 miles away, 9.5 hours. Now, you're going to probably want to go on a sleeper, aren't you? Or have at least, 2 or 3 meals on that journey. I've never been on Eurostar. I don't know why, but I would love to do that. I'm reluctant to fly back and forth to the UK. And I think this would be a great way of doing it. And maybe a little stopover somewhere. If they make a ticket so that you can get out in Spain or France, and spend a night, wouldn't that be great? And we could have a golden era once more of rail travel, and it'd be more leisurely, wouldn't it? Rather than, you see, flying's it's quick, isn't it? But it's not a lot of fun. So there you go. There's a couple of people who have been told to hold flags and wave them gaily in front of the camera. And also, you'll see a bit more of this because I think it's really funny, this little video we've got here. Among those destinations mentioned to be added in the future, Bordeaux, Spain, Geneva, and beyond into the rest, Switzerland, Italy, Austria, and Frankfurt. Ultimately, we want to see seamless connections with continental high-speed networks to destinations lighting up across the departure board. Nice. Nicely written. Eurostar currently runs direct services to Paris, Marseille, Brussels, Rotterdam, and Amsterdam. I wonder if there's been a lowering of of tickets on the Brussels route now, on a fleet of 27 trains traveling at around 180 miles an hour. That's the way to go, isn't it? But the company quaffing a Prosecco at 180 miles an hour through Europe. Wonderful. But the company is hoping to expand its reach dramatically following a planned merger with Franco-Belgian high-speed train firm Thalys, set for completion in 2021. So it looks like it's going to be a while yet. This would put it in direct competition with low-cost airlines. Yes, that's what needs to happen. It would also be seen as a more attractive option for travellers concerned about the harmful environmental impact of flying. So let's have a look now at Grant Shapps and his speech, because I think this is... Actually, no, let me just make sure I am sharing the sound with you. Or maybe I'll just talk over it in a kind of Eurotrash kind of way. Would that be fun instead? Let's do that. And I think we've got subtitles anyway, if the video ever starts. There's so many adverts on this. Oh, here we go.
A PT
Oh, no.
Empresa está ligada à história empresarial de Portugal. Passado cheio de inovação que contribuiu para tornar Portugal num país mais competitivo. Hoje, a PT Empresas faz parte do Grupo Altice, grupo global que inova no presente para liderar o futuro, junto com as empresas portuguesas de Portugal para o mundo. A PT Empresas agora chama-se Altice Empresas. Empresas que mudam o mundo.
Such excitement in there. I'm sorry, Mrs. M is just talking to me. Okay. Yeah, so Eurostar, as you can see there, route currently sees passengers forced to change trains in Brussels. What an indignity. Transport Secretary Grant Shapps used the launch to send a clear message. Yes, this is politically motivated.
Just 4 days after we left the European Union,
this is funny.
An act that some critics wrongly portrayed as being isolationist,
inward-looking.
Somehow was floating away from its neighbours. We've come here to this magnificent
He looks a bit terrified, doesn't he?
Celebrate the launch of a new direct rail service between
Who wrote this speech?
Europe's great cities.
It was only given to me a minute before this.
The European Union. We are emphatically not leaving Europe.
Well, the thing is about that, Mr. Shapps, is we can't, you can't leave a continent, can you? You are the continent, it's named as a continent, so you can't really leave it. But maybe that does need to be pointed out to some people. I don't know. The mega network, codenamed Project Green Speed, very good, would connect London with a vast swathe of mainland Europe. So there you go, something to look forward to. A 9.5-hour journey, if you are, I suppose, fairly close to Lisbon, that is, and traveling style on Eurostar. People who I know who do use Eurostar love it. So I think that's great. And I think it could herald the beginning, like I say, of a golden age of rail travel. So that, the experiences near railway stations become greater. And it just becomes fun to travel on the train and to eschew and avoid the whole business of air travel, which is fast and cheap. But it's not much fun, is it? Especially if you get a delay or a setback or whatever, and the security thing and the customs thing. But that's another matter. Let's not go into that right now. But there you go. Great news, I think, that they're even talking about that. Another little bit of interesting news, fun news this morning, is the idea that let me see if I can find this again, because I've got so many tabs open, I tend to lose things, and I want to tell you about how you can. This is a little ruse, okay, that we could figure out between us. It's in my saved. Do you have a long list of saved Facebook things that you never go to? Me too. But here we go. Taylor Ness, who I believe must be a researcher for, is it A Place in the Sun? No, A New Life in the Sun. Let me share this with you. And I've got a little ruse. If you're thinking of coming to Portugal, this is how you could maybe do it. Taylor Ness, I think it looks like a researcher for the program. Hi, everyone. I wondered if you could help me. We're currently casting for the sixth series. People love this stuff, don't they? Of A New Life in the Sun, which broadcasts on Channel 4, and we're looking for Brits who are setting up a business abroad. We'd love to hear from any B&Bs, vineyards, breweries, restaurants, sports activities, any sort of business really. Any help would be amazing. My email should be tness@truenorth.tv. And they're back. It says Channel 4's A New Life in the Sun, back and looking for Brits who've moved abroad to start a new business. Now, I don't know. They must pay people to be on here, right? They must pay them at least for the inconvenience they cause to their lives, which I'm sure is it must be considerable. I was going to try and say that in a clever way. Not inconsiderable. All right. Imagine it causes quite considerable disruption to your life to have a TV crew following you around. It could be fun as well, obviously. And, you know, if you're somebody who would like the limelight, it's a cracking idea as well, isn't it? And a showcase, an amazing showcase for your new project over here in Portugal. So if you're thinking of that, and perhaps you're going to get a little bit of compensation for being involved and a lot of publicity for what you're doing, wouldn't this be a great thing? You know, and they're talking about B&Bs, vineyards, breweries, restaurants, sports activities, but they also say any sort of business, really. Would a radio show and podcast qualify? I don't know. But I'm sure there are a lot of people, you know, that's part of the expat thing, isn't it? Of setting up here is you've got to bring some way of making a living or start a way of making a living. And that makes great TV, obviously. A New Life in the Sun at truenorth.tv is how you apply. But I think that's amazing. I think that's an amazing opportunity if you can cope with that kind of spotlight on your life. You know, that's not for somebody who wants to come here and start a quiet and modest accountancy business, is it? It's going to be it's going to have to be more at the TV spectrum end of Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares. There's got to be a bit of drama in there. And of course, if you're starting a new business in Portugal, any new country, and you're starting a new business, there are so many variables and possible drama moments in that. So there you go. I hope that's useful to somebody, that they can come here, start their business, get some lovely publicity, probably get a little bit of compensation for it as well. I don't know what the deal is with that, but wouldn't that be fun to be involved in that? And I'd watch that for sure. So there you go. Channel 4's A New Life in the Sun, looking for businesses. And you can email Taylor, T-Ness, all one phrase, tness at truenorth.tv if you would like to be considered for that. Awesome. And I think we overlooked what a palavra just recently and our little bit of lingo and vocabulary. So we're back with that today. It's a very important part of the show as far as I'm concerned. And I want to share with you today a lovely phrase that came via Katia Lima. She who writes the Beyond Lisbon blog, okay? And let me just share with you something that she shared with the rest of us just recently. And it's this. I talk about Portuguese moments on this, and I'd love to hear them from people. It's that moment when you realize that, yes, this is what we came here for. And you breathe out and you have a little moment of ecstatic bliss within. And suddenly everything makes sense. And you realize all the effort was worthwhile. And so I'm mixing that up today. This would be one of them, wouldn't it? Sat on a beach like that, which I believe is a Portuguese library shot. I've got to say, I don't know exactly where it is, but I'm reliably informed it is Portuguese. And this ties in, this is bringing together hashtag Portuguese moment, which, you know, sat on this beach, it would be, wouldn't it? And what a palavra, and a phrase for you today on Good Morning Portugal. Oi, agora não quero outra coisa. Coisa is one of my favorite words here. And I'm thinking of starting like some kind of act called Mr. Macoisa, or Alguma Coisa is another lovely phrase. Coisa is I don't know what it is about that word, coisa, but I'm attracted to this phrase because of that word being in it. Oi, agora não quero outra coisa. Now, that means in this moment, I want for nothing, effectively. Okay, so I agora now as in no, quero want, outra, other, coisa, thing. In this moment right now, I don't want anything else. What a lovely thing it is to be able to say that from time to time in your life. So there you go. Thank you, Katia, for that. What a palavra today. The phrase, oi, agora não quero outra coisa. Coisa, anything with coisa in it is good enough for me. So there you go. Oh my goodness, am I still sharing that with you? I hope so. Yes, I am. Good. And that will be on the podcast, which you can download later on. Okay, so this is going to take a little bit of jiggery pokery with the technology. If I can find the right blooming things again. Oh, here we go. Yes. We are looking at a property that was sent to me by Becky. Thank you so much, Becky. And I do need to make sure we've got some nice bit of music with this share. And I've got to make sure I am sharing the sound with you. Share computer sound, because there's a little bit of music. You probably didn't hear Grant Shapps earlier on. And let me play for you this delightful clip. Okay, it's only 51 minutes long. This isn't our usual Casa de Dia where we're looking at a property and I've got all the details. The details are scant here, but this is intended as it's almost like an exclusive. I don't know if this is with any agents at the moment. I'm really not sure. But I was told, look, you can share this. Please share this on your show. So I'm delighted to do so. And check this out. We've got some interiors to follow, but I think this is the location. This sets the scene. Casa del Lago. Want to live there? Want to live there?